Hey, this is Mike Popovich from the Repository and the Letter Media Network. So, I just wanted to come on here and maybe kind of try to put into words what the end of this Cavs season is. As most of you know, they lost to the Indiana Pacers in Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Semifinals, 114-105 tonight. Indiana wins the series 4-1. They'll move on to the conference finals. And for the second straight year, the Cavs go home in the second round in the same amount of games. Last year, they win a 7-game series in the first round against Orlando in a series they probably could have easily lost. I mean, let's face it, come back from how many points down were they in Game 7? 20-some points, and came back and win. They probably should have lost that series. Go on to face the Boston Celtics, lose in 5 games. Boston goes on to win the NBA championship. They were the better team last year, no doubt. This year, this Cavs team wins 64 games. They're the number 1 seed in the East. Played amazing basketball during the regular season. Go on to face the Miami Heat in the first round, sweep that series against a Miami team, that basically, after they got down 3-0, they just basically mailed it in. That was it. Faced an Indiana team that I think is really good, but I still thought the Cavs were better. And they lose in 5 games. Blew a big lead tonight. Blew a big lead in Game 2 when they were shorthanded, but Game 2 they could have easily won. They just didn't finish. Came out in Game 3 and played remarkable. Cut the Indiana series lead to 2-1. But then on Sunday, it was just awful. And then tonight, once again, they jump out to a big lead, and they can't hold on to it. So what do you do right now? I thought a successful season for them would be, even though they're the number 1 seed, if they got to the conference finals and maybe lost to the Celtics again. Okay, that would be disappointing, but they were still making progress. A couple years ago, they lose in the first round of the Knicks. Last year, they lose in the second round of the Celtics. And if they could get to the conference finals and maybe face the Celtics again and lose, it would be disappointing, but I think some people could accept that. I don't know if this is acceptable at all. They were out-toughed, out-physicaled, however the way you want to put it. And that's become a disturbing thing in these playoffs. It's what we talked about 2 years ago when they played the Knicks in the first round. Not tough enough. And this year, same thing. So what do? You can't run the same cast back, okay? I'm not saying break up the core 4, and I don't even think that's a good idea. But look what you got tonight. Max Strus, 0 for 9. 0 for 6 from 3-point range. You can't have that, okay? And granted, they didn't shoot well as a team at all, as a team as a whole. And that happened in a couple of games in this series. I mean, you can live by the 3, and you can also die by the 3. So I don't think you can run this same team back. And like I said, I don't know if breaking up the core 4 is a good idea. You know, I'm saying this like an hour or so after the game ends. So you're kind of in that moment still. And maybe in a week or so, maybe I'll change my mind. I don't know. But you can't run this back, because you're going to run into the same issues again in the playoffs next year. Not tough enough. Out-physicaled. And if you get into these 3-point droughts, you're not going to win. I think they need to retool, is what they need to do. And how they do that initially in the heat of the moment, I don't know how they can. Because what happened this year, you run back the same team, you can't trust them. They won 64 games during the regular season. Can you trust this same team if they win 63 games, 60 games, if they're a number 1 seed? This is kind of what you need to do right now. You take the regular season for what it is. I'm not saying it doesn't mean anything. Teams have to build during the regular season to get to this moment in the playoffs. But you go into the playoffs next year as the number 1 seed, I don't know what to expect with this same team. You know, this is the 4th time the Cavs were a number 1 seed in the East going into the playoffs. 2009, some of you are not old enough to remember, 2009, they get to the conference finals against the Orlando Magic. They need this LeBron James shot at the end of game 2 on the inbounds at the buzzer to win that game and even that series, but they go on and lose in 6 games. 2010, they lose to the Celtics in the conference semifinals. They took a step back. They lost in 6 games. That ended the first LeBron James era. 2016, they're the number 1 seed in the East, win the NBA championship. The best moment in franchise history, obviously. This year, they win 64 games. Number 1 seed in the East, don't get out in the second round. They got to be tougher. Because the NBA playoffs are a different beast than a game played on November 21st or January 27th or March the 3rd. They got to be tougher. And they have to retool. Thanks for listening. I'm Mike Popovich. You can read my stories on cantonrep.com, and you can watch highlights of area high school and college sports on cantonrep.com and on the Letter Media Network's YouTube page. You can follow me on X at mpopovichREP, and you could follow my Letter Media Network co-host Aiden Bruick on X at Aiden the Brew.